we have this mountain background. Let's bring this in. Since I pasted it from another window, it's not automatically a smart object. So I just need to right click and make sure it's converted to a smart object. So let's go ahead and put on a blending mode. We could do lighten or screen. In this case, they're all a little different. I think screen is still going to be the way to go for this one. So I have screen, and let's go ahead and make this bigger so we can really see the mountains right here. Just finding the right position. We want to really get the peak of the mountain. We don't want that to disappear. We can move this over to the right or to the left. So let's go back to our blending mode. I know we did screen, but the two that works really well on lighter backgrounds is screen and lighten. I like the way how lighten has a little bit more of the oranges and keeps a little bit more of the original color. So let's switch it to lighten. And you notice these combine okay, but you know, his eyes, anytime you have a person's eyes are really critical areas or focal points of a subject matter, and they're kind of have lots of overlapping elements, it kind of just is a distraction. So what we can do is we can mask our layer and see if we can't maybe get some of the eyes back here. So let's put a layering mask on our mountain. So we want to be able to mask some of that mountain away. So let's do a layering mask on our mountain. We're going to paint on with black. When you paint with black, you are subtracting from the photo. So we're painting with black. We're going to be subtracting some of this mountain photo so we can get some of the eyeball back. We don't want to take away from his eyes. So we're just going to get the eyes and the eyebrow back. We can also do the same thing with the ear. See how this kind of awkwardly goes over his ear? But if we were to make our brush a little bit smaller and just paint away so it looks like we get our ear, it also gives it a really neat layered look. Almost looks like it adds shadows without even having to add shadows. And so all I'm doing is painting with black, and I'm removing or subtracting this mountain. So that reveals the man below. Same thing with here, just doing some minor cleaning up. Just little details and touches. Maybe get some more of that eyebrow back. Same thing down here on the neck. That just looks busy, and we'll just clean it up. Let's zoom out and see what we have. That looks a lot better. Let's adjust the background of this to add a little bit more of a dynamic pop so it's just not on stark white. So I'm going to double click the rectangle here, and I'm going to bring out a color in the sky. So let's bring out not just the light blue, but let's kind of bring out a little bit down here closer to the horizon. And click on OK. And you can always clean up selections too by editing your masks. So I'm right here on the mountain, on the layering mask, and let me paint with black. I want to clean anything up. So now we want to add a pop to the background because right now it's just one solid color. So I found this picture of smoke that I've used in other projects, and I just love the texture and the details of this. So we're going to use this smoke, and we could care less about this person holding it. We're just going to mask them out, so don't worry. So let's go ahead and bring this in. I'm going to copy and paste it in, or you can just drag it in. And since I just copied and pasted it from another window, I will make sure I need to right click and make it a smart object. And let's just make it bigger. This is why we make it a smart object, so we can scale it up and down to find the right placement. So let's say right about here, and let's bring it all the way to the bottom above our color background. So what we want to do, it looks like an absolute mess right now. We are going to want to add a gradient map to this because we want to really bring in that smoke and make it a different color. So making sure our thumbnail is selected and not the layering mask, we're going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and go down to Gradient Map. So let's say we want to make it a blue. Kind of going with the blue sky idea and make it a light blue. And let's make it a little bit bigger. And you see all this extra stuff. And sometimes you have to toggle your layers to find out where it's coming from. So it's this picture right here. We have some excess stuff that's coming out. Now that it's not on a white background, it's letting the pixels through on this blue and showing up. So we're going to go ahead and clip it. So what we want to do is we want to clip it right to this outline we have of the man so that anything outside will just be clipped away. So I'm going to hold down Option. I'm going to show you the keyboard shortcut for Windows on the screen. But I'm going to hold down Option. When you go to the layer, you're going to see this little arrow down that goes down. What you can do is I can select a layer. So let's say I'm selecting right here. I'm selecting this image we have of the mountains. And I'm going to hold down Option. You're going to get this little arrow, and I'm going to click it down below. And I believe I cover this when we talk about mockups, because you do this a lot when you're making your own mockups. So I'm going to click down Option, and I'm going to go to clip it. So I'm just going to click on my mouse once, and it's going to clip it down to my cutout here of my person. So you notice how now this is all clipped down. If I ever want to unclip something, hold down Option, and it has a little line through it, and you can click off, and it goes back. So it's really handy if you want to kind of really crop something or clip something to a certain shape or to a layer below. So just to recap, this is a lot. So we have a layer here that's been now clipped to this bottom man cutout. We have the man that has been isolated and cut out using a layering mask. We have the smoke that has been brought in, and we went ahead and used a layering mask to get rid of the man that we no longer wanted. And we have a gradient map that's applied to that layer, making it blue. And then we have a base color at the bottom, just a simple light gray color that we sampled. So we have a lot of moving parts here, but we're going to do it a few more times so you can get really comfortable with it. It's a little bit more of a complex double exposure for your first time. I know maybe I threw a lot at you through clipping and layering mask and select and mask. You've worked with layering masks before, so hopefully it's not all new to you and you can do something very similar. So let's apply this to another project, and let's do a couple of really simple ones to kind of continue to demonstrate the double exposure effect.